Ready, guys?
The Zach feeling.
Ready.
Ready.
Wait on it.
Welcome, everyone. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Russell? Mr. Peters?
Here.
Mr. Robinson? Here. Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Head? Mr. Blazer?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes. All right, has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our last meeting? Any comments, changes? All right, all in favor of accepting the minutes from our last meeting, say aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. It's accepted. We do not have any communications and announcements, no public hearings tonight, and we do not have any audience concerns. On to our committee reports. Mr. Smith.
I'll go ahead and just talk about this now. So I haven't had a meeting since, but so now sanitation, I feel like I can kind of leave them alone for a while. I went and got with TJ earlier this week to figure out about our water plant. We need to get our new water plant up and going, and it was really good information. I was sick to my stomach looking at this absolutely beautiful equipment that is just sitting there. And obviously we see that we're having some issues with water right now. And then so after I met with TJ and talking about some things of what we need to do, I got with Pat and Joe, and some good things are happening. We've already got some good plans together or they've already got some good plans together for us to get a relief of more water coming in. The deal is being worked through right now, and that will not involve the plants, but that will help us out in our times of need. Because I can tell you that no matter what we do with our new plant, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be a fun repair, or whatever we do, and it's not going to be quick. And so that I think what they've done is a great job, and then once it's all detailed out, I'll bring everybody up to speed. I think what they're doing is phenomenal. So I had mentioned TJ has already been working on some things with like models at the old plant. And so I guess someone has seen him with a very small trailer and a very small container of water. It's only like 250 gallons. He went and filled it at the old plant, brought it to the new plant to run tests. So if anybody asks you why we were hauling in the water, that's what he was doing. He was just running tests, which is great. That's initiative. That's what we need. We need not sitting around. We need answers, and we need them now for this water plant. So the next step right now is we need the EPA to give us equipment. One system that was mentioned to alleviate the ammonia was like an aerating system. We need to run a test to see if, with the EPA's equipment, to see if we want an engineering firm to come in and tell us how much that would cost to do. Because that's going to be expensive to have them. Once we see if that works, the EPA says, yeah, that works. Then we got to figure out what's it going to cost to get it all done. To get the plant up and running. So my plan now is literally call the EPA, because they usually bring the equipment, they will not bring it to us. And they're being stingy about letting us come and get it because of COVID. And so I am at like a point where I'm tired of waiting. And so I understand their rules and things. My plan is to call them every day until they decide to let us either come get it or deliver it. Because we need answers to figure out if this works or not, what we need to do for the next step, so we can start actually being progressive in doing things. And so the DPU board was doing that. We cut ties with the engineering firm that designed everything. So we completely got rid of them a while ago. You know, because it's awesome, in my opinion, to do a good job. And so, but we can't make any more decisions until we find out this test result from the EPA. So I may even call on you guys to help me call the EPA and bang, because we need to get these results.
Or the DPU,
Or
or the
EPA.
the EPU guys, are they called as well?
Well, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's where we're at now, so I'm tired of waiting. Yeah, TJ's has called and tried to get stuff.
But I don't think any of those three have called as well.
I don't personally know. I just literally today come to the conclusion that I am just like, we are going to have to just start calling the EPA. And I understand the rules, you know, they're dealing with COVID and they're trying to deal with that, but, you know, we're in a situation, we need answers. We need answers, we need to move forward, we need to get things done. And I can tell you right now, it's fun stuff. I mean, it's not going to be a fun process. And I know no one in here had anything to do with it, but that's the hand we've been dealt with. I'm not worried about pointing fingers at who made the mistakes. It's just got to be, let's get it fixed and get that plant up and going. So that's what I'll be working on, you know, until we really get some answers. So.
All right, and then also in that, I've worked with Steve Stivers previous to the COVID shutdown and put him in touch with Pat to hopefully get some things going on that. And we were moving ahead pretty steadily until COVID. And so I understand now how they got kind of weary about letting people in around facilities, but hopefully Steve Stivers' office, because you know they do have some connections there, and I'll give them a call again. I talked to them, as a matter of fact, yesterday. So I'll give them a call too to see if there's anything they can do to help us further.
Because that literally, once we get that result, that takes us into what are we doing? Are we going to bring an engineering firm in and just say, come in here, tell us how to make this all work, how much it's going to cost? Or, you know, are we looking at it's even worse and we're going to have to look into something else?
Okay. All right. Mrs. Blazer.
Finance committee, we all came to agreement on the ordinance to rescind the 0.5% credit. Like I was telling Henry that my main concern was the fact that we promised something as a city. It's none of us sitting here, but we're now the city, they were the city then, and that we were taking it back, but not giving back what? If they gave us this, we would give them that. And we were still going to take this, but not that. That was my major concern with it. But we had a good discussion about it, and the points that really swayed me was the fact that you would have people that are working in London that are residents would be paying more taxes than people that are working outside of London. So I felt that the fairness kind of outweighed the fact that we were kind of turning around what we had promised before. So we were all in agreement to bring the legislature forward for the 0.5, to get rid of the 0.5% credit. Then on the public safety committee, we had a lengthy discussion on the contractor regulation legislation, and we are really looking for some of your guys' input. I'm not going to bring, you know, none of us want to bring something back to the council that they're going to send back to us. We don't want to bring something back that's exactly the same. So we just kind of want to know what, if you know, could email us or let us know somehow what your problems were with that legislation, to see if we can kind of come to a consensus. So I think the basic plan of it is something that we need, but I know that there, especially the list, and if anybody's interested, I made up for the committee kind of, this is a list of all of the contractors that are in that resolution. And I went through the WestJet and kind of ticked off what they had, and then kind of ticked off my thoughts of it, and a couple little notes about repeats and stuff like that. But, if anybody's interested in having one, even looking at it before they give us an idea of what they're planning on, we would like to bring something back that would be agreeable to everybody.
All right.
And then on the fire department side, they've resumed their fire safety inspections, including the fairgrounds. Their new hire orientations continue. They're still in the COVID-19 work group. It's down to a Tuesday situation report, but that may, now that numbers are increasing, that may get larger. They've also resumed their CPR classes. They had got certified for it as a continuing education site through the Division of EMS for the Ohio Department of Public Safety. And what that does for them is allows them, if they have somebody trained in the future as a EMS instructor, then they can give their own classes and award CEUs to the members that attend the classes. They also were approved to partnership with the Grant Paramedic Training Ride-On Program through Ohio Health. They participated in the fireworks display. They have developed some guidance for community education events during COVID-19, and they did do the touch a truck at St. Pat's Early Learning Summer Camp.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hayes?
Yes, attend the safety meeting. I'd just like to reiterate what Carla brought up about the contractor legislation. We don't want to bring it back until we feel like it can pass. I'd like to try to have a meeting maybe next week if you all have some time on your schedule. Maybe we can come in and sit down and go over some things, kind of figure out this, that, whatever. Get this thing together and then maybe get it back in time for the August 6th meeting and hopefully get it passed. Carl, I appreciate the work you did on it. She put a lot of effort into it. I've got the police report here. Hunter K. Cardy, 21, was sworn in as our newest officer. Started the 134th basic class at Columbus Police Academy on the 13th. His hiring has filled all sworn positions in the department. Praise the Lord for that. We're in the process of procuring gas masks for our agency and MCSO, as we have been authorized a reimbursement from the County Prosecutor's Drug Fund. Cruiser 18, which had 7,700 miles, was repaired with a new transmission installation, which was due to a failure of the torque converter that was under warranty. It was down for several weeks due to the lack of available parts. It's now back in service. Received a $2,500 donation from the Cobra Club at an event held in Columbus. And I thought that was really nice, since we've not had the Strawberry Festival and the Cobra Club's not here this year. They still felt worthy to give us a donation. They gave one also to the fire department, if memory serves me correctly. So I think it was $5,000 altogether for the two departments. I think that's great. We're also in the process of selecting an officer to be assigned as a detective to replace Sergeant Cooper on the MCMC task force. Attended Dairy Queen grand opening, and again received a donation from the owners to our association's shop with a cop. Thank you, Dairy Queen, very much. Appreciate that. It's been an increase in our app download, continues. They're up to 2,723 current users. Stats, calls for service are down from last year by 10% so far, with the COVID response accountable for drops in many categories such as traffic stops, thefts, trespassing, and warrant service. some of the most notable. Incident reports dropped 25% from last year due to the quarantine public and restricted business, which overall is a good thing for the police department. Not a good thing for business, but a good thing for the police department. I read a letter, this is just something I'll touch on. Got a letter from a resident in Springfield who was over here conducting some business, and he thought that our signal lights on our traffic lights in the downtown area are very dim. He stated, I thought the lights on the signals were dim, but I didn't realize how dim until I got home to Springfield and saw how much more vivid the red and green, even yellow lights were in Springfield. And he kind of signs off with, I realize times may be financially tough, but in the future, when you have some spare cash, you might want to purchase some new, brighter traffic signals. We discussed this before. The state says that we don't need all these traffic lights through town, we just need one. Therefore, they will not give us any money. So if we were to go out here and rectify this situation with the antiquated equipment that we have, it would probably cost several thousands of dollars. So hopefully on down the road we can get something done, but I will answer this gentleman's letter, let him know we're in receipt of it, and we appreciate him sending it to us. And that's all I got.
I know we got some legislation on that before, about the LED lights and replacing equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we did replace it.
We did do some, but then when they got into some of these others, the computer modules won't match up with what's in there now. And this stuff is like from, if memory serves me correctly, 79.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
It
that
wasn't
old.
that long ago, Rick.
Huh?
79 wasn't that long ago. I guess we're getting better on that.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
It old that way.
Who told you that the state wouldn't give us any money because of one traffic light?
Because we're only supposed to have
We're only
one, so they won't give us any money for the rest of
One
them.
wire.
Huh?
One wire.
Maybe not.
Yeah, they did a study,
They said you only have one?
back in the, with the old administration, they did a study because it was a big issue about all the street lights and how you have to stop, and they did a study through the city that said you really only need one street light.
How long? That was a while?
That was the previous administration.
Yeah.
They did
They
a-
took
did a
down-
study about, they had the
Okay.
counters on the street and
Center,
everything.
Madison and Center, Walnut and Center.
Yeah.
They took this one down for a little bit, and that was attached,
Yeah.
so they put it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had them like flashing for a while or something.
They kind of turned it off and get back.
Yeah. But every time we apply, they say, you don't get the money, you only need one light in that town, Main and High. And that's,
Yeah, that's what I said.
That is great.
All right, on to Mr. Peters, you have any?
Oh, I had a public service meeting with the street department. Bill and his guys have been trimming trees around town. It's in view, like street views, blocking view to turn and stuff like that. They've been bush hogging, been inspecting, their Park Avenue project. Hopefully that's completed this week or next. Been cleaning catch basins, dirt patching, filling potholes, weed eating guardrails, street sweeping, some of the things they've been doing. And then with Parks and Rec, Tammy said the pool's doing fine. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 7. And right now we're kind of talking about fall volleyball, looking into that, see if that's viable or not. And then the next public service meeting will be August 12th at 1 p.m.
Mr. Robinson, anything? Okay. On to our city official reports. Joe, do we have anything?
No.
No? Okay.
Just at the top. Question, are they gonna pave Park Avenue across that bridge as it sits, or are they gonna leave the
They're
road?
putting another layer over the bridge, right? When they go,
The whole road gets a mill and blacktop.
Okay,
That's just the patchwork until,
okay, that's what I was hoping, people were asking me, and I'm like, oh, I don't know.
the mill machine should be here hopefully Monday. Milling take place Monday and Tuesday, and blacktop starting Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, on to old business. Let's see here. Ready for the, well, these are going to be items we discussed at the public hearing on the 6th, I think it is, August 6th. Ordinance 14720, 10820, and 14920. All right, so we'll move on to, for our second readings, Resolution 15120, a motion to read by title and number.
So moved.
Second. Third, so you read the resolution.
I'm sorry, did you finish reading?
The 15120, second reading.
Ordinance. Ordinance 151, 20, sponsored by Anthony Smith, a resolution increasing appropriations.
Again, this is just to make sure I understand, this is decreasing appropriations, this is taking $58,000 away from sanitation. So, we've already passed our legislation, they don't need it.
Okay. All right, and on to new business. Resolution 15520, motion to read by title and number.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, could you please read the resolution?
Resolution 155, 20, sponsored by Brenda Russell, a resolution increasing appropriations.
And she was not here tonight, but Carla, you spoke to that a little bit earlier about the $2,500.
Yeah, this is the, I think this is the donation from the Cobra Club. Is that,
Okay, Rich.
is that what that is, Rich, do you think?
Yeah.
There's one for the police and one for the fire, so I would say that's the Cobra Club donation being put into their separate, each of their funds.
Okay.
That one and the next one, 156 one.
Okay, so we'll read that, of course. And on to resolution 15620, motion to read by title and number.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, could you please read the resolution?
Resolution 156, 20, sponsored by Brenda Russell, a resolution increasing appropriations.
Rich?
Again, this is $2,500 that was donated to the police department by the Cobra Association. So we're just going to transfer it and move it into where it needs to be.
Ordinance 15720, motion to read by title and number.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, could you please read the ordinance?
Ordinance 157, 20, sponsored by Rich Hayes, and ordinance amending ordinance 176, 74.
This happened in 1974. There was a total of 76 acres that was awarded to the city, and when they did this, they inadvertently transferred 0.23 acres belonging to what was called Ohio Fuel Gas Company at that time, which would probably be Columbia Gas at this time. And basically what this will do is the land will still be the way it is, but we're just going to give them back the 0.23 acre that belongs to Columbia Gas.
where's this at?
It's off, oh gosh.
Should Union Township.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out.
Is
Yeah,
it,
well, the point, like, the points, but not any street names or anything like that.
it was the Ridenhour annexation, as I recall. I wasn't around here then, but
I thought it was South Main Street. That big white house down South Main Street.
What would,
Yeah, I would have called Steve Pronine for this. I called Tony Zanikas yesterday, and he wasn't sure exactly where it was at, but he said that Steve Pronine may know the exact location of that.
it has the tracks here, but it doesn't give a real specified, it just gives the distance and
Well,
feet. and
If you
things.
knew what Jackson Ditch was, that maybe in it. I don't know who Mr. or Mrs. Jackson was, or where the ditch was.
Bill, do you know
Yeah,
where
I was gonna say,
this Russell Rhinehart annexation is?
Yeah, I can, I was one. No, okay, I can ask, I'll give Steve Pronet a call
Okay.
and see if he can give us some more, closer description where that's at. Okay. No problem. Of course, we'll leave that one there. We'll have more information on that. One to ordinance 15820, motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Clerk, could you please read the ordinance?
Ordinance 15820, sponsored by Reverend Russell and ordinance amending 81.08 of the codified ordinances.
All right, Ms. Carter, you be able to expand on this a little?
Yes, this is an ordinance, rescinding the 0.5% credit on income earned outside of the city of London. So, if you lived in London but worked outside in another city where you pay taxes to them, then you would get a 0.5% credit on the 1.5% income tax that the city of London collected on just that portion that you worked outside of the city for. It's pretty convoluted on if anybody's filled those income tax forms out. So I worked for the hospital. It didn't change anything from the hospital because they're in London. Because I work for Ohio Health too, I got a $13 credit, which is 0.5% of the 1.5% income tax I'm going to pay to the state of London. So on my Ohio Health paycheck, I only pay 1% instead of 1.5. Like I said, the swing factor for me, because I felt strongly about not breaking the promise to the citizens, was the fact that it was unfairly levied on the folks that worked in London and lived in London versus the ones that lived in London and worked outside.
Do we know what other cities do?
Most of them do. No,
Okay.
so sad to that.
Right, so we're just, okay.
Yeah, there's not very many cities that do the credit.
Even do-
Right, right. It's just, they used to back in the day a little bit, but not anymore. It's like, you use our things when you're at work, so you get to pay. As if you were here 24 hours instead of 8.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that information. Anything else to add to that? Okay, well, we're moving on to roundtable. Starting with Mr. Robinson.
I just want to thank everybody for the well wishes, our baby girl. Appreciate everybody that reached out and congratulated us. She's a couple weeks old and sleepless, I guess. So, other than that, glad to be back.
All right. Mr. Peters.
I have nothing.
Mr. Hayes.
Just want to thank all the city departments for your hard work. I know it's hot out there. I want to thank the police department. They did a street light thing here the other day. I had a citizen ask me about street lights, and I talked with Lynn, our chief of police, about it. And anyway, the officers are making sure they're checking the street lights now. And if there's a street light out there, recording it, and then it goes in, dispatch calls Ohio Edison, and hopefully it's repaired the next day or so. Ohio Edison's good about coming in and taking care of them within a day or two. There's something that I lost it just that quick. Thank you all for being here. If any of you want to get together next week about this other situation that we have going on with the contractors, give me a heads up and we can come in and spend a half an hour, 45 minutes.
We'll have to make sure it's a public meeting as well.
Right. Right. So, right to do sunshine law, so. If figured out. That's all I got.
Mrs. Blazer.
And, I just want to say to everybody to continue to be safe. I'm kind of disappointed with the lack of people that are wearing masks in our city. When you go to like Columbus, there's a lot more participation and we're doing it for other people. It's not as much for us, we're helping other people, and that's what we do as a city, is help each other. That's why I moved from Worthington to London in the first place, because I like the atmosphere of everybody helping everybody else. So just ask that everybody, try to wear some kind of a mask or face covering when they're out in public. And just again, remind everybody to be kind. We're all part of the human race. And that's the way, we don't think of everybody in our community. Everybody's differences make America great. It has from day one, so be nice.
All right. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank the Madison Messenger. You guys come here all the time. People can't wait for that paper on Sundays or weekends, whenever they get it. You guys still have a really, big part in the city. But I do appreciate that you guys still come and, take notes of our meeting and you get those posted in the paper. So really appreciate you guys. If that's all, we'll get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Be a record.
These papers I made